in theory.
Hello, and welcome to episode 76 of the Dash Force Free Amigos podcast. I'm Mark Mason, and I'm joined by my two fellow Dash Force amigos, Joel Valenzuela. How are you?
Oh, excellent. I apparently am a host of the crypto show now or something.
And Brian, aka Mastermind. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Right. Today's episode is a very special one because we're joined by two special guests. Firstly, Lorenzo Ray of Dash Text, who is the CTO, who's no stranger to the podcast. How's it going, Lorenzo?
Yeah, it's going great, man. I'm so happy to be here again. You know, always happy to share this space with you and to talk about all things Dash. So yeah, we're going to have a very nice conversation today. Many things to talk about, many cool announcements and things to come. So thank you for the invitation, man.
Excellent. And our second guest is no stranger. You would have seen Karen on many videos of me. It's Karen Shu from BlockCypher, who is the head of growth. How's it going, Karen?
Great. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. So those that would have read the title of the video have probably guessed already. This is about Dash Text, and there was a press release today about the Dash Text service actually launching. And Dash Text is actually made possible through Dash's partnership with BlockCypher, hence Karen being on the show as well. And for those that aren't familiar with BlockCypher, they specialize in blockchain solutions, and they enable companies and users to integrate with multiple cryptocurrencies through one platform. So, Karen, just want to give a quick breakdown. So Dash Text uses BlockCypher's API, correct?
Yes. And so the way it works is, and as you know, so for those of you who aren't familiar with BlockCypher, we have APIs and really infrastructure that has been hosted for about 5 years now for multiple cryptocurrencies. We added Dash about 2 years ago, or a bit longer than that now. And organizations like Dash Text use the Dash APIs to integrate with the Dash network. So the simplest example is to send transactions, to manage accounts, to check address balances, and also to do new things that we'll talk about, like adding promotions and making it easy for Dash Text to add users by enabling existing users to refer new users and then get paid for doing so. So in a nutshell, BlockCypher enables Dash Text to integrate with the Dash network in a number of different ways.
Fantastic. And Lorenzo, did you actually launch yesterday? Because I got the press release today, but I had a feeling it was yesterday. So do you just want to give us a quick rundown on the launch? So what was the press release about today? Just launching. There's more to it than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk all about it. Like, we decided to make a small event, you know, where we invited many organizations that work both with Dash or crypto in general, or economics and finance in general. So we did it in a nice restaurant yesterday here in Caracas. So we had, you know, heads of Dash Venezuela with Eugenia, from the communities of Dash Maracay. We had the leaders of Dash Youth, the Dash Active Agents guys. We had, I mean, there were so many people from the different projects, like the mayor of the, you know, Caracas is divided into small, I don't know how they call them in English. Like, here's municipios, or I don't know how, municipalities or something like that. So the mayor was there. Yeah, so it was a very nice night. You know, I got to show everyone the service. Like, I Chromecasted it to a monitor so they could see the product working. Everyone was so excited. And we opened more than 60 wallets yesterday. So summing that, plus the wallets from the beta test and the others that have been opened during these 2 days, like yesterday and today, there are more than 120 wallets already running. But the actual promotion starts right now, and we're going to be talking about it with the partnership with BlockCypher, where all the promotions that we'll be doing. There are so many cool ideas coming to promote this, and we're working with all the different teams in Venezuela to promote it. So the users of the different projects in their different respective areas, like universities, you know, and all the different communities, are going to be pitching this service so that everyone in the country can start using. So very good things coming.
Excellent. And what are the limitations? Like, what can you do with Dash Text, and what can't you do? Because we should say it's SMS based, right? It's text based. So we should just go from the beginning. So what can you do with Dash Text, and what can't you do, and why is it so important for Venezuela to have this service?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, basically, the core functionality that any wallet should have is present in Dash Text, which is basically checking your balance, receiving money, sending money, and we also have some additional, features that, no, I mean, some wallets have them, some not, which is like you can ask for the current Dash rate, and it would tell you the rate in Bolivares. Like you can do that in the Android app, you have to go into the settings and check for if you want to change the exchange rates. So that's the core functionality. In terms of what it cannot do, it doesn't have advanced functionality like the Dash Core wallet for desktop does, like signing messages or batching different. But that's functionality that's not meant for the end user. This is an extremely easy to use service. Like everyone can use it. Your grandma could use it. The commands are so simple. It works really fast and really great. So yeah, all the basic functionality that any person would need for day-to-day transactions, it's present there, and a little more.
So how does it work if you go up to pay out with something? Do you have to actually enter the address manually, or is there some kind of other? How does that work?
No, yeah, funny that you talk about this, because this is something that it's coming next. Like the next integration that we're working with, and we're so excited to launch it very soon, is the POS integration. So as you know, we're working here with a modified version of the QRCR, payment platform, the POS system. So we made a Dash merchant themed version of QRCR with all the tools for Venezuela and for the Venezuelan market. So very soon you'll see just below the QR code, there will be a Dash text code. And that code, you would type the command purchase, which is compra in Spanish. So you would type purchase and the code, and the system would do everything automatically. So you don't need
how
to
long
type,
is that
you don't need
code?
to type the amount. You don't need to type the address or the phone number or anything. Of course, when you type that command purchase, you get back a message saying, hey, you're trying to pay this amount to this merchant for this item. Respond yes to confirm. So you would confirm, and the purchase would happen immediately. So yeah, and our online payment processor that we're building merchant will include that as well. So yeah,
that sounds great.
Yeah. So how long is that code to type in?
Yeah, it's 6-digit code. 6 digits.
6-digit code, and then it automatically computes the amount to spend. Like you don't have to send the exact number or whatever.
Exactly. The way it works is that in the database of the POS system and of the payment processor, when you generate a QR code, that includes the address, right, and the amount to be paid. So we just, database-wise, in the back end, we just link that to the code. So when the person sends to the Dash that command with that code, Dash Text in the back end talks with the POS system and the payment processor to fetch that information. So then Dash Text can get that info and input it as if the user had inputted themselves.
Interesting.
So the user
what is the way most people get actual Dash addresses into and out of the phone? Because it seems like if it's a flip phone with no internet connection, it seems like someone would have to have a smartphone, copy and paste the address from there, and then send it via text to the person, for example, as a way of doing that.
Yeah, well, basically, the way you receive Dash in Dash Text, there are two ways. Like if there's another Dash Text user with already some balance in their Dash Text wallet, they can just type the send command to the phone number and it would arrive immediately. So that's the easiest way. But if the other person does not have a Dash Text wallet, they can simply copy and paste the command, the address, copy and paste the address and send it from a regular wallet. So for example, if I feature phone and I want to get some Dash, I would just, if I'm buying in an online exchange, I could type that address in the copy and paste that address on the web browser or send them through text to the person who's trying to send me money from their smartphone. So they would copy and paste it and send me like that.
Are there any good online SMS-based things so where I could send a text from my computer to a feature phone, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very nice way. There's a very nice way you can do it. like the Android message, the from Google, links to your PC if you want it. So you can browser and log into your Android. You scan a QR code, and it links your messages to your messages on your phone. So then you can send text message, use Dash text like that easily.
Okay, Lorenzo's connection's getting a bit choppy there, so I hope that's going to get a bit better. Karen, I've got a security technical question for you. So in terms of the wallet, they're essentially creating and opening a Dash wallet. So are these people in charge of their own private key? How does that work?
So
I can answer the question.
Yeah, so Lorenzo, you want to take that if your connection works?
Yeah, I mean, the technical people from BlockCypher aren't here, so I don't know if Karen will give you all the technical details. So if you want me to pitch in, I could, no problem.
But are they in charge of the private keys? I mean, that's the most important thing here, right?
Yeah, so BlockCypher is not in charge of the private keys at all. And if someone generates a private key using BlockCypher's address endpoint, BlockCypher immediately gets rid of that, and the company like Dash Text manages it, or the user manages it themselves. Sorry, Lorenzo, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, on our end, exactly the same. Every time we, want to send a text message, it generates the private key and then it immediately deletes it. So there's nothing stored in databases. So yeah, the people, cannot have the keys stored on their devices because that will require extra software. But there are no databases where those private keys are stored. So yeah.
Are there extra fees involved with the Dash Text versus any other way?
More importantly, like how
so
much
the way it's working right now. Yeah, well, the way it's working right now, we do not charge any fees for Dash Text currently. Initially, we're not doing that. So the only fee that's being charged right now is the network fee. The Dash network fee, which we actually set to be very low. We made many tests to get to a threshold where their transactions are safe with the minimum fee. So yeah, that's the way it works. And we actually tell you when you send money, when you get the response message that you successfully sent, we even tell you how much it was, like $600 or something like that. So yeah, that's the only fee we're charging right now. But for the future, there's a couple of integrations and services that will include a fee. But for users inside Venezuela, there are no fees aside from that.
In one of the videos I saw, y'all talked about that y'all had 2 of the 3 major carriers. Did y'all get the 3rd one, or is y'all still working on that?
Yeah, no, there are 3 main carriers in Venezuela. One is government owned, which is MobileNet, and they haven't activated us yet. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So we first got activated in Movistar, which is like the biggest carrier, or you could say the most expensive carrier. So they activated us first, and we started doing all the beta testing there. We had hoped to launch at the beginning of October, but by that time we were only activated in Movistar. So we say, okay, let's just wait for the other 2 carriers. Then Digitel activated us, which is the second most important carrier. It's a private company too. And we said, okay, if by November 1st, the government carrier hasn't activated us, we're just going to launch with the other 2 main carriers, okay, and just wait for them. So right now we're working on Digitel and Movistar, which are the 2 biggest carriers in Venezuela, which are private companies, and we're waiting for MobileNet, which is the government-owned carrier, which the number is already there. We're just waiting for them to activate it. It should happen, in a couple of weeks. We hope it does. It happens very soon because that carrier, especially, has a lot of features phones. Because the government has made some phones and they give them to people and stuff. So there are many people with feature phones using that carrier. But we're hopefully going to be activated there very soon.
So what's the percentage of people covered right now between just those 2?
Yeah, I don't have those exact numbers right now, but I'm guessing about 60%, 65% of all the people with lines in Venezuela are covered. And I mean, it could probably be higher, but there are lots of people with feature phones on that government carrier. So yeah, probably like that.
And it's 40%. I think I remember watching your video when you first came out with the proposal. So 40% own smartphones, right? Is that correct?
Exactly.
Which is why
about 50% of the population does not have smartphones. It's actually a little higher. You know, it's like 37% of people have smartphones, and the other 63% don't. So yeah, this service expands the ability to use Dash to so many people. And also, there are people who have smartphones, but you know, the #1 request we get at the Dash Help Support Center is memory issues. You know, people who have smartphones, they have the wallet, but they just run out of memory and the wallet starts crashing, you know, and there's many problems with that. That's like the syncing issues that happen because of the memory is the #1 request we get almost every single day at the Dash Help Support Center. So those people who have those old smartphones or smartphones with very low memory, like Dash Tech is also a great solution for them. So there's a huge market that this service can provide, you know, solutions for. So yeah.
Can we talk about the back end? How does this work? Is this all being routed through one server that's routing all the transactions, or is it purely offloaded onto the BlockCipher API? Because, or do you have multiple servers distributed out? How do you deal with the centralization aspect?
Right, I'm going to explain that now. So basically, there are something called SMS gateway providers. Like there are companies like banks and other insurance companies and other companies use to send text messages. So they do it through those companies. So we got the best company for SMS services here in Venezuela. And through that company is through their APIs is that we can get the command. So people, and they also help you with the purchasing the short codes, you know, with all the negotiations with the carriers and stuff. So the first step is people sending messages, you know, and the carriers communicate with this company's APIs. And then we can access those APIs to fetch the information. Then that information goes into our servers, and the Dash Tech servers are actually outside Venezuela. They're not here, they're abroad. And then we process the logics of the commands, like do they want to receive, do they want to send? And then we connect to BlockCipher APIs to execute. So that's like the way it works.
Interesting. So Karen, I remember when we first started talking about the Dash text solution, and you got very excited because for you, it's not just about creating integrations for Dash and other cryptocurrencies. You actually want to encourage adoption. So one of the cool things about the press release today was this new promotion, which is kind of an incentive to get people to start using it. Do you just want to give us some insight into what this promotion is?
Yes, so this promotion is designed to get existing Dash users or the new Dash text users to refer their friends, their network to using Dash text. And when they do that, and that new user sends Dash, then a cut or a commission or a referral bonus then goes back to the original referrer. So the original Dash text referrer gets 50 cents, you know, the equivalent of 50 cents USD in Dash. And then in this way, we can help promote and make this adoption more viral. Because at the end of the day, in terms of Dash and where our focus is as working with Dash Core and the community is really to get usage. And we believe that people in Venezuela will use this Dash, and we've seen them use this Dash. And so we believe that investing in this community to actually do this referral, to make this kind of adoption viral is going to be really worthwhile and successful.
Fantastic. So I guess it's roadmap time because me and Brian, well, I think we both voted for your proposal, but just before we came live, Brian was just saying, well, where's next? Where's the roadmap? What about Colombia? What about Argentina? So so even though you just launched yesterday, we already want to know what's next. What's the roadmap?
Absolutely. So right now in the next few days, we're going to be registering hundreds of users through our partnerships with all the different Dash communities and Dash projects here. Like I told you, like Dash Venezuela, the local communities, Dash Maracay, Dash Los Teques, Dash Youth, Active Agents, Dash Trip. So that's actually a very cool thing, because with Dash Trip, the initial, place in which the touristic place in Venezuela called Canaima, it's like a closed ecosystem in which a lot of people are going to benefit from Dash Tech. So their team is so excited. I'm actually coming with them, at the middle of the month to promote it over there. And it's a great place because being isolated means that there's a very high probability that the money can flow more easily, or, more open place. So we're very excited about that. So that's the immediate stuff. But let's talk now about the interesting new features and new things to come. So there are many things coming. Like the first thing to come is the integration with the POS system, our Dash Merchant QRCR version of the POS, and our web payment processor, which is almost ready. Like we already showed in the Discord some live previews of it. So like if you have an online store, you can click on a product, and a model would pop up where you can easily pay. So Dash Tech is going to be able to integrate with that, but we're also going to build an API so that other payment processors can include Dash Tech as well. So we're going to do that. That's the first thing coming. Now, there's another thing that's very big, which is remittances. Like sending remittances from across. Using Dash Tech is one of the ways we can encourage people to do it more easily. Especially for Venezuelans who left the country. Like I don't know if this happens in other countries, but in Venezuela, it's like people remember your phone number, like the actual number. So especially with your family and your friends, like the phone number. So if there's someone in the United States, like he wants to send money to his sister, like typing the address and all that stuff, but if he can just send money to his sister's phone number, which he already knows, it will make it a lot easier. So we have big plans to get Dash Tech to be used in a lot more countries, and yeah, the specific details we're going to be sharing very soon, but not yet, because there are a couple things that I want to keep as a surprise, but it's coming very soon. Now, in terms of countries that are coming next with the SMS service, like we want to get Colombia. I just came back from Colombia, so we're going to be working to get that next. But we also have a lot of interest of getting Dash Tech into Africa. So we're in talks with people from Ghana. I think
I like that place. I've been thinking been paying a lot of attention to Ghana for very specific reasons.
So there's a group of people there working, with an organization trying to help people with low income and that stuff. So we're having a really nice conversation, and they already sent me some contacts for people that can get us an SMS gateway provider over there. And once we get that deal, we will be able to activate there in Ghana, and hopefully in many other countries in Africa as well. So yeah, we're very excited about that as well.
Let me just one question, going back to the new commands and stuff. When is that going to roll out to make it easier with the merchants?
Yeah, for purchases, the integration with the POS system should be ready in about 2 weeks. Okay. And with the payment processor, we're thinking about a month, because there's still something we need to polish for the launch of the online payment processor. So yeah, those are our tentative dates.
So right now, Venezuela is the superstar of the Dash ecosystem. Joel has just started doing a street team. He's very, very passionate about POS solutions. So we're very interested in the integration with regard to Dash Text and the merchants you've been onboarding fantastically with Dash Merchant Venezuela as well. So some of the community have seen photos of these merchants that have been onboarded in Venezuela, and they notice that it's not consistent. They'll see photos of merchants, and sometimes they'll be using old mobile phones. Sometimes they have tablets. So in terms of adoption and real world use, what are kind of the barriers that you're seeing with some of these merchants in terms of POS? And like, do you have a solution to that, or is this just something you just have to deal with?
In terms of POS solutions, the Dash version, QRCR version of the POS we were using, it's actually working great. I just had, there's a very cool thing that I just had right now. Like we went to get lunch at a restaurant that's very close to the office right here. It's called Planet Gourmet. They use the POS the Dash Merchant POS system, so we pay with that. So this is just a little parenthesis because you mentioned that, and I remember that there's a guy, the security guy at the bot. So we always give him some tips, like in cash or in wherever we have. But now that Dash Text is live, we asked him, hey, what phone do you have? He had an old BlackBerry phone. So we're gonna just give you a tip in Dash. So let's create your Dash Text wallet. So the guy pulled out his BlackBerry phone and created his Dash Text wallet, and we gave him a little tip there, and he can spend it right there in that mall because there are many merchants in that mall that accept Dash. So it's a very nice story. Sorry for the parentheses, but it was very nice to know that you can help people like that. Now, coming back to the question, currently there are two ways merchants go about it. It's like the small merchants in which the owner manages the store themselves. Many of them use their regular wallet, but actually right now the big majority of merchants, especially the ones that are a little bigger, are using the POS solution, and it's working great. So yeah, there are no issues there.
Interesting. So Joel, do you have any thoughts on the POS? Because for those that don't know, Joel just doesn't talk the talk. He walks the walk. He is Mr. Unbanked, and he's been unbanked, living off crypto for ages. So
I claim the name Stay Dashy then, because I'm dashier than a lot of y'all.
Well, I mean, no one's actually secured it yet as a blockchain username on the upcoming evolution, but we'll save that for another podcast.
Yes. So obviously integrating into point of sale type systems is great. Now there's the challenge of in the US and Canada, Dash via SMS is available via coin text, and Venezuela it's via Dash text. And I'm wondering, I have no idea how it's going to go. Are we going to end up in a situation where we have most of the world covered by two different competing SMS wallet providers, where one of them supports a variety of coins and the other one is just Dash? Was that going to be a thing where you have a merchant terminal that just has a different Dash text and coin text number on it to pay?
Yeah. Well, I don't have the answer to that question. I mean, Vinar Money is a great guy. We're very friendly. He actually, he was the owner of the dashtext.com domain. So we had a different domain .org, and he was actually very nice to. So he likes challenges, challenging people. So at first he was like dubious and saying like this doesn't really work and stuff. But as soon as he saw that the service was actually working, like he got very excited and he gave us the domain. So I speak with him relatively regularly. So we don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
But I think this is the exciting thing, right? Is how do we make Dash easier for people to use? And Dash is different than all the other coins. And we saw that at Money 2020 and other places where people gravitate towards Dash because it's got a lot of features, a lot of partners, and a lot of companies that are making it easier to use. For like Lorenzo said, for your grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one cool thing that I don't know if Karen's probably going to get, I hope this is okay to talk about. But sometimes when I catch up with Karen, we end up talking for hours and all sorts of stuff. But where BlockCypher API is used by so many services, can I talk about the blockchain intel thing and the heat maps that you've got?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So why I always get so excited to talk about Karen is like she always updates me on what's going on, and obviously they're getting a lot of traffic through their API, and they have a partnership with I think it's just called Blockchain Intel, right? And basically that enables them to kind of get heat maps so they can see where all these transactions are happening around the world. So obviously the Dash Text SMS solution is more ideal in parts of us. In America, people aren't really going to be using the need to do SMS isn't that great, but obviously in Latin America and Africa and places like this, it's a real crucial service to have. But anyway, so Karen, in these heat maps, have you seen anything, any strange things? Because I remember last time you were saying you saw quite a lot of activity in China, of all places, which I didn't expect. So, yeah. And Venezuela, I'm guessing you're getting heat maps in cities and stuff. Can you update us on that?
Yes. So we started to look at really quarter-over-quarter comparisons. And initially, there wasn't much activity or, not as much activity in Venezuela and Latin America. But we are now able to see some more activity coming up. And I think, though, with Dash Text launching in the next quarter, we'll see even more activity. But yeah, we are picking that up and starting to see that faint color turn into a brighter color.
Yeah, so I think we're going to have to put some pressure on Core a little bit, because Karen gives these reports to Core to see, and I think the community would love to see them. So I think they should be made public. But maybe I can speak to Ryan or Bradley off camera later on and see if we can make that happen, because I think this information is just so great to see in real time. Right, so Lorenzo, let's get back to the promotion, right? So you've just launched. This is the incentive. You're going to incentivize people to get it, right? How are you going to market this? How are you going to let people know? We saw the press release today, so we've seen some articles pop up, but how are you going to let people know in Venezuela that this is here, this is landed, and get people to use it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, there are many channels in where we're channeling this. Like, yeah, there are many channels in where we're going to be working with this. So one is by taking advantage of our partnerships with all the different Dash projects here. Okay, so that's one of the most important things, because these are projects that are active on the ground, working, teaching people how to use Dash. So across all these different communities, we're going to be pitching them to all their users, to the people who go to conferences, to meetups and all that kind of stuff. Like I mentioned before, Dash Youth, Dash Trip, etc. And we will also be helping them, because through Dash Text, if you're a user of Dash Text and maybe you were affiliated, I don't know, by Dash Venezuela, we will be able to, trying not to be, too annoying with these messages, but sporadically, we will be able to send messages to users, talking to them about the different projects. Like there's a conference in Caracas, so we will be able to send some promotion to help the community. So that's one thing. But we are also doing it through the social media campaigns and marketing campaigns that we're already using. So right now there's an ongoing influencer campaign that's going really great with some of the coolest personalities, Venezuelan personalities. Like it's divided into two groups, a group of intellectuals, journalists and other people who have a lot of respect from the Venezuelan community in terms of their being intellectuals, so they give Dash a reputable, they make Dash look reputable. And we also have the comedians, the influencer who makes it look cool, Dash is so cool. So right now we're using that campaign. Since Dash Text hasn't launched, we'll be promoting, the exchanges and Dash Merchant and Dash Help. But in that campaign, Dash Text will be included as well. So the total reach from that campaign is about 3 million people. So yeah, we're so happy that the proposal for the funds to that campaign were just approved in the Dash Boost cycle. So we're very excited for that. And we're also going to have some help from the Dash Core group through Fernando, which is also very excited about the campaign. So that's another one of the channels. But there are other ways in which we're going to do it. There's a big one coming that I cannot speak of yet, but it's going to be very big. And we're hopefully going to have another call to talk about that one.
Right.
And,
yeah.
and just to add to that, just to add one little thing. So we, as part of BlockCypher's partnership with Dash Core Group, we have established a marketing grant process, and Dash Text was also chosen for that. And so as part of that grant and that marketing campaign, we'll do the promotion that we talked about, where we're able to refer people and give them a bonus for referring. And that will last while we have the funds. And then the second part is being able to, on our Dash Explorer, our Block Explorer, promote Dash Text. So this is a way that anyone who uses our Block Explorer, and this could be any one of the exchanges in the region, around the world, people who may, in the US use Coinbase, but go and live in Venezuela or travel to Venezuela and use one of the phones there, right? They'll be able to see, hey, I can use Dash Text, and immediately sign up. And this is a way that you can get online users and people from all the other exchanges, all the other sites that use BlockCypher's live Block Explorer to actually opt in and become Dash Text users and users of Dash.
So the Dash grant scheme is still ongoing then? Because I remember that was announced ages ago, but I just assumed the budget would have gone dry. Because I just assumed the Dash Core Business Development Fund would have allocated some money, but I mean that was so long ago. That was like early 2017. So, but that's still an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and this is through the partnership that we have, BlockCypher has with Dash Core. So we want to be good partners, and so yes, some of the timelines we've kind of lengthened where we can, because we believe in the work that we're doing here, and especially with with Dash Text and trying to reach a number of folks who have the need, but want a simpler interface, want a simpler way of getting to using Dash. So it is a program where we have taken the funds, the actual say dollars or Dash themselves, and stretched them as far as we can.
Yeah, there a while back there was some really beautiful billboards there on one of the major freeways. Is that still going on? And who did that? Who was responsible for that?
Yeah, absolutely. We did that. We did that with the Dash Help Support Center. Like, those billboards are to promote the support center. You have the phone number and the website right there. And funny that you ask, because just this morning we were speaking with the I don't know, the service providers, the guys that you purchase the rights to use those billboards, and we're going to be updating them very soon because they still have the old Dash logo. So we're going to be updating those billboards, including the merchant stuff, Dash Text and stuff, and we're also going to be putting up more, like a couple more billboards as well. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I'm glad you mentioned about the social media influencers. So for those that are unfamiliar with the Venezuelan situation, Lorenzo, I don't want you to get in trouble talking about the government too much. But in terms of media and PR, the social media influencer thing is critical. It's critical down there. Because like, if you really want to get that message out there, these Instagram accounts of these popular comedians and things like this is the go-to thing for advertising. Like, both myself and Joel have been meeting with Core talking about media and PR strategies within Latin America, and that's like seems to be one of the most popular tracks. Now you're in a very fortunate position because you've got the Dash Merchant, you've got the Dash Help Support, and you've got the Dash Text as well, and you kind of all merging it into one. So you can actually fall back on a lot of things. So it seems like you're going on the full assault here. Like you're on the major offensive here. So is there anything else that you think that you can do apart from having these billboards, these conferences, and literally apart from going into shopping malls and physically putting it into people's hands and dressing up in a Dash mascot like outfit coin? What else can you do?
Yeah, so basically, talking about the different, like the Dash Merchant, Dash Help, and Dash Text, if you look at closely, like those projects seem to be, like each of its own, but at the end of the day, we're all about building solutions, technological solutions that can make people's lives easier. So with the support center, it gives so much confidence to everyone. Like, I mean, the value that having that support center has is like unbelievable, man. The peace of mind that people have when they know that they can easily call someone to solve their problems is just, it's ridiculous. But it's a technological solution. It's a call center with a website, with live chat. It's a technological solution to help people. And with the Dash Merchant as well, we have the PS system, we have the payment processor, and many things to come. And with Dash Text, it's also a technological solution. So yeah, those projects look like separate, but at the core, they're all technical solutions, technological solutions that integrate, and by promoting them, you can make people's lives easier. Now, in terms of that promotion, yeah, the influencer campaign we think is critical as well. Like, those people are so popular. I'm not going to get too much into government, related stuff, but in Venezuela, people don't really watch too much TV. TVs with all the government owning stuff, it's just the reach there, it's slowly dying. So social media is where it's at, and it's very funny because Venezuela, with all the problems with the different smartphones, not everyone has a smartphone, but an internet connectivity is very slow. But still, like in places like Twitter, Venezuela is one of the most active countries in Twitter and in Instagram as well. The Venezuelan is a very social media inclined person. So social media campaigns, it's where it's at. It's what the big companies are doing. like companies like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and stuff are hiring these influencers to promote it instead of paying for TV ads. So yeah, that's where the market's at, and we're having a lot of success doing it. But there are many other channels in which our partners and allies are going to be helping us with. So Eugenia with Dash Venezuela, she's doing an amazing work with interviews with different journalists, like for radio, some for TV as well. Like radio is huge here in Venezuela. People actually listen a lot to radio, So she's giving a lot of, interviews in radio stations and for different newspapers and stuff. So through our allies, we're also going to be able to promote this solution for everyone in all the different communication channels.
Is it too little too late, though? Because there's a lot of people in the community that are very concerned because they're seeing loads of news coverage and reports on the petro. So although we're still getting little details coming out now, and I see there's a few articles earlier this week on official capacity of petro launching and where you can purchase it. Is this gonna damage you, or does this actually help you? Because from what you're saying about the population there and the ownership of smartphones being very in the minority, not the majority, if they're going to get the petro really adopted, they're going to have to kind of do what you're doing now, like onboarding the businesses and onboarding the people. So is this actually going to hinder you or help you? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, in terms of the petro one now, we think it's actually a positive thing, not because of the petro itself, but because of the implications of promoting cryptocurrency. So basically right now, the government has granted a lot of licenses for different exchanges, and they all now have billboards around Caracas. If you drive around Caracas, you see these huge billboards for these exchanges, and they're going to be multi-currency. So basically, even though their biggest interest is to get people to use the petro, in which it will have their characteristics, I don't want to get too much into them, but they're promoting the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So we're seeing a little bit of an economic opening through cryptocurrency here. And if you go out to the streets and you talk to people, like, it's amazing, man. If I would go right now to the street and ask the first person I saw, do you know what cryptocurrency is? They're most likely going to know it. And we have been doing a lot of promotion here with Dash through all the different allies, but still to cover an entire country, that takes a lot of work. So there's a chance they heard of crypto because of us, but there's a lot of chance that they heard it because of the government, There's a very high chance of that. So when people know about something, even if they don't like this cryptocurrency, once they hear about it and see it over there, then they can see our billboards and they can understand, maybe this is another payment solution. So we think that because of those reasons that I just explained, it is a positive thing. But the petro itself, it's another subject in which I would rather not get into.
Hey, how many calls are y'all fielding and chat interactions a day about?
Yeah, right now I will have to get the volume right now because but last time, which was last month, from the statistics, we were getting like 8 calls a day and like 6 to 7 requests through the live chat or email support, and that has been steadily growing and growing. So I just came back from Colombia. We're gonna speak a little bit about that as well. So I promoted the Dash Help Support Center, and we have actually had a little increase in support calls from Colombia. So yeah, that traffic is slowly increasing every single day, and it's going to keep increasing.
Right. That was good. That was a good segue. Let's talk about conferences. So there's 3 conferences I want to talk about: Money 2020 and the Dash conference in Colombia. But first off, we've got to take the opportunity while Joel is here using the crypto show equipment live from Las Vegas. So Joel, do you just want to tell us what you've been up to? Because you're at World CryptoCon, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be fun to watch the crypto show banner being snuck out from behind me while I'm doing this. He's like, "Oh, fired." Oh, he said I'm fired. Okay. Which, by the way, I'm gonna steal his hat real quick. Yeah. So no, it doesn't look good on me. Anyway,
I like that hat. That's a good one.
Yeah, we'll get you one. Yeah, World CryptoCon's great. It's at the Aria Hotel, giant place. Several stories of everything. Our buddies Charlie Lee and Charlie Shrem are running around. Vinny Lingham was just sitting over here a little while ago. It's pretty good. It's a very interesting conference because in my in my experience, it seems like it's a 50-50 between who I'd call crypto OGs and just new corporate type people. As in the crypto OGs are the old school people like us who have been working on hard to expand the use of this for years and years and years. And then the new sort of corporate type people, there's a lot of talk and a lot of emphasis on stuff that it seems almost antithetical to stuff that we've been promoting. For example, let's try to get people more involved with the banking sector, or let's just try to have more people with government compliance, things like that. And of course, there are some things like there are some definite ways in which you need compliance solutions, of course, if you're going to be participating in the global economy at this stage. But there seems to be like a little bit of a mental disconnect between like, what is the point of cryptocurrency, or rather, is this just a given and now we're trying to kind of move in? So it's pretty interesting to see these like two different groups that are all in the same thing. It's a great example of the cryptos growing up, and I think that these two groups coming together is going to be a very interesting kind of thing, because you have the old school principles first group and then the let's take this worldwide, and there's a little bit of a disconnect between the two right now, and it helps to have them come together and sort of be on the same page on all this. But yeah, it's been pretty great. I was on a panel talk about banking the unbanked, where we had 3 people talking about banking the unbanked, and then myself and Doug from Vault Logic were talking basically about debanking the banked. It was kind of pretty funny, because especially since they're talking about banking the unbanked, and I'm the unbanked guy on the panel, and it specifically, and a great way to like literally I was the mythical person they're talking about, and I'm like, I can tell you exactly what it doesn't. But what's really funny is, so I come to this conference, I get invited on the banking the unbanked conference. I get invited because I am unbanked and living off of cryptocurrency, and then in order to claim the hotel room that they offered to have me stay in, I needed to have a bank account, which I don't have. Which seems, it's a pretty funny disconnect where you have this conference that's, you know, and the organizers have been very great. They're running a great show. It's a great place. It's just interesting to see the disconnect of, let's have this guy talk about how he's unbanked, but not think that he actually is. And so it's a very interesting world we're in, where we're still in the very theoretical world of, you know, people saying, oh, this could help this, blockchain can improve this, and all this kind of stuff. And then here I am saying, like, I'm living it. This is what's happening. Look what those people are doing in Venezuela, kicking butt, turning the world upside down, doing great. Oh, what about this? What about that? Oh, by the way, I don't have a bank account. Oh, here's what you can do here, there. And then on my way out, my phone's blowing up with LinkedIn messages from people saying, oh, your talk was great. And then people are like running to get my card and stuff, like, because I had to run over to be on the podcast. So there's a lot. I think Dash is a breath of fresh air for a couple of reasons. It's a breath of fresh air in the crypto old world, where you have a lot of people that are cypherpunk hacker types that just don't understand what the average person needs to actually want to use this. They don't get the polish. They don't get that, you know, cyber crypto darknet coin is like not, you know, and it's not going to be a wide adopted kind of use of money. And they're like, oh, what's wrong with this long hash? Oh, you just change the address format. It's going to be fine. And at the same time, Dash offers a breath of fresh air by being one of the only old school projects in the modern space of trying to make it for everyone. You have a lot of projects that are trying to make it for everyone that are kind of more like, well, let's just have like a blockchain authenticator that combines with your passport so you can get easier banking services. Let's put the banks on the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think that it's pretty interesting to see the Dash difference. And people respond strongly to it. They're like impressed that this is not theoretical, that people are actually doing this today.
So just very quickly, in terms of the cool things that you've seen at the conference, you sent me a message saying, Mark, you got to check out the Vault Logic ATMs. So is that the coolest thing you've seen, and why are they so cool? What's so fantastic?
Well, the coolest thing I've seen is Danny over here. I'm just saying because he's around. Anyway, that's probably one of the coolest things I've seen at the conference. Yes, is so the Vault Logic machine. First off, it's a two-way machine, and I think there have been issues with two-way machines because of money transmitter licenses or things like that. But because of the way the machine's set up, it's like two separate machines in one unit, so that's not an issue. But more important, the Vault Logic machine, and I'm not going to do a big advertiser for Vault Logic. I'm just telling you about why I got excited. And Pete and Amanda were there as well, and they saw it and they got excited. So with the Vault Logic machine, you can essentially use it to pay like your bills as well. So I saw like your phone bill, your rent, your electricity, whatever else. You can go and just pay it for an unbanked person. You can just go and pay that from that single kiosk. You can, and then you can buy cryptocurrency. You can sell cryptocurrency, get cash out of it. Then you can buy a whole bunch of gift cards, sort of like Bit Refill. They have a whole bunch of gift cards that you can actually sell from the machine. So you can just walk into the neighborhood machine and be like, imagine having one of those in a Chipotle, and then you go buy a Chipotle gift card and go pay for your burrito right there. And these things are, it's kind of like a center. And I can easily see one of these at any major hub, anywhere you have a meetup, anything like that. You just want one of these kinds of things. And more importantly, imagine having one of these kinds of things somewhere where you have a high population of people with family in Venezuela, for example. And then they can just come in and buy Dash at a cheap rate with cash and then go send it out to their friends and family back in Venezuela, who then go to all these merchants that Lorenzo and Alejandro's teams worked so hard on doing. I mean, I'm just starting to see the connections, the possibilities, and like everyone has like, oh, you can get an Uphold account and buy and receive and buy and sell Dash from there, and you can send it. But just like that cash-based kind of endpoint where you can do everything else, it's like it just enables so many of the other things we're doing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about. And of course, if there's other machines that do the exact same thing as this, and I'm not plugging them, I'm sorry, I just don't know about it. I'm just getting excited about what I saw.
What are the fees there for that vault?
Obviously, they're operator based. I believe there have been some discussions about having a proposal for the Dash network to lease and possibly lease to own some of these machines, which would include a significantly reduced fee. But one of the things that's interesting is they have the, and I should really look into it closer before giving a little pitch on it, but I believe they have a setup where if one machine, like say you have two machines across the state, across a geographic area, and one of them's running really low on cash, they might let you buy Dash at a discount in order to fix the liquidity there, or the other way around. Yeah, so it works both ways. So basically, you don't have to have the operator running back and forth with bags of cash to make sure it's loaded. You just tweak the economic incentive so the users do that for you. So you might be lucky where if you want to sell, if like they're running low on Dash or whatever, have too much cash, they might offer Dash at a 5%, cash at a 5% discount for Dash. So, I mean,
are they already in the wild, or they're just now launching?
There's one at the crypto space in San Pedro where my buddy Alan held the first local Dash meetup yesterday, and buddy Ernesto, of course, Danny's been there too. But at the crypto space is like a big old crypto co-working space, and they have one of those. And I first saw it there, and then the little pre-programmable display had like all kinds of Dash stuff on top, and it was pretty cool. So definitely, I'm going to be looking more into this stuff. I'm going to be contacting more. I believe they might have had a pre-proposal in at some point, and I would definitely would encourage looking into that, because I want one where I'm at. And if you just have one of these with some low enough fees in an area where you have a lot of unbanked people, then they can go pay their bills, do whatever very easily from the machine, and then buy Dash to send as a remittance. And then all of a sudden you have that key bit fixed. And as far as I know, because of their programmable APIs, you should be able to have a variety of services and exchanges set up in there, and you should be able to put them in other countries. But I think they're mostly US based right now, but you should be able to put one, say, in Mexico and set it up with all the Mexican bill pay systems in there. So you could just send Dash to someone in Mexico, they go to a local machine there and then go pay all their bills or get pesos out, for example.
So is Dash already on there, or some of them?
Dash is already on there, and I think they're exploring. I don't like to talk. We don't usually talk too much about proposals on this thing. And this specifically is not even a proposal as far as I know. I heard rumor that there was talk of doing it where Dash would have a significantly reduced fee, like say a 1%. Cash for Dash, 1%.
What even better? What about Dash Ventures? Why don't we just buy it and then just have every other cryptocurrency, but just Dash transactions are free? There you go.
Dash is free, everything else. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, buy everything.
Yeah. Right. Well, speaking of Dash Ventures, so I'm sure everyone here watching this will be well aware that Core were recently at the Money 2020 conference, but it wasn't just Core. Many strategic partners were there, including Karen from BlockCypher. So Karen, the Dash booth looked amazing. I did see a few photos of you in the background talking to various people. Was it a successful conference for you? Are there partnerships in the work? Was this a good, successful conference for you? Because you attend a lot of events.
Yes. And I think this conference in particular was just a great milestone for us as partners. I mean, it was 2 years ago when I remember talking to Daniel Diaz about conferences we should go to. And yes, Consensus was one of them. But I suggested Money 2020, and he had said, I don't know if this is really in our wheelhouse right now. And
he could have been right. It could have been just too early at that point.
Yes, but we did anyway. And so last year we went to Money 2020 in Vegas. And that was when we first were opened up to all the possibilities. And this is where a ton of people came by, were interested, and wanted to learn. The differences from last year, this year, is not only they're interested, they want to do something about it. And they're in some of the traditional places that you and I wouldn't expect, right? So last year we started to talk to some card companies, some gift card companies, outside of BitCard and others, and there was some interest. But now this year, I mean, it's serious. They're like, we want to add Dash. We want to know what we can do together, and how do we get started? Literally. And so I've just been nonstop since I got back, talking to these companies about who we can work with, who they can work with. And what's amazing now is in this last year, we've developed a much bigger ecosystem. So like you're saying, Mark, there are a ton of Dash partners. There were a ton of Dash partners in the booth, including myself, as well as others like rewards.com, Kuva Cash, and others who are really filling out different parts of the solution that people want. And so at Alt36 as a payment processor, so I was referring left and right. So as people came by and they would ask me a question, I would say, oh yeah, you need to talk to this Dash person. And you also need to talk to this partner, this Dash partner. And, this is how we can help you. And it was great because now we have all these relationships and we can be referring to each other and really presenting a much more complete, but also a much more compelling, plan to move forward together. So that was great to see. Yeah.
Can you give us a teaser? So that sounds like you've had lots of leads to follow up on. So is it a case now that you could be picky and choose which ones that you want to integrate as opposed to chasing people down? Is that the case now?
Yeah. So I would put them into two camps. And this is because BlockCypher has APIs that you can sign up for right away. And so there are a group of people I would say, here, try this out, sign up, use Dash, and this is how you do it. And then there's another set of deals that I'm working on more closely with Dash, or more on a independent basis, like we need to nurture this. This is going to be a big deal. Let's add some more marketing to it, and some more other partnerships that we can pull in to make this a much stronger value proposition overall. So I can't say exactly which one, but I would say that some of the more traditional players, like some of the gift card carriers, are really interesting. I mean, the online ones who do stuff already with Best Buy or Home Depot or something like that. I mean, these guys have added, and they want to add Dash, as a cryptocurrency because they see the value there. And so that's where I think there'll be some good integrations coming.
Right, yeah, because that's what the community wants to know. So there are big announcements coming, right? More integrations. Yes. That's what they want to know. They want to know the gossip. So we're going to be hearing again from you very soon, correct?
Yes. I hope so. Very soon.
And is it going to make
definitely.
it's going to make Joelle's life easier being unbanked, living off Dash, whether it's
Yes, exactly. So when I heard you, Joel, and your story, that's exactly what I think these new integrations will do. Is they're intended to make it easier for consumers to use Dash as rails, because this is the thing that I really heard from this conference was people were getting it. Use Dash as the rails. Even if you've got some people who are jittery about currency fluctuations, Dash makes sense as the payment network, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. And just as an aside, what was also funny is the other crypto foundations, or I guess groups like Stellar and Charlie Lee, right, came by and they're very complimentary, saying, we want to understand how Dash works, how the Dash governance model works, and what we can learn from it and take from it, because it's impressive to have such a massive Dash booth. I mean, competing with MasterCard, Visa, the big financial companies, right? I mean, Dash was on that scale. And so
Definitely
everybody was coming.
And that's one of the reasons why I personally debanked, is because it's easy to, as I said, sit up and go to conferences and talk about all of the third world and all this kind of stuff. Just talk down to people. But like, I definitely wanted to know the problem firsthand. And so if I'm saying, oh yeah, just like, I have no idea what it takes or what are the challenges if I'm not feeling the pain myself. And so I don't mean it was a masochistic kind of thing, because it's been a lot more fun and benefit than it has actually been a pain. But it's definitely to kind of put in that role. And that reminds me, the whole payment rail type thing reminds me, there's this project called Give Direct, which used to be known as Dash Direct, operating in the rural parts of Ghana. And they really want to get Dash used everywhere. And it's just easy. Oh, just get Dash in there, because they're providing basic income to some of the very poorest of the poor families there. And they're trying to get Dash used. Now, there's a couple of challenges. First off, they use, I believe they use Stellar as a kind of gateway, as an anchor for accepting like charity contributions to a bunch of different cryptocurrencies and then turning it into whatever. And right now there's no Dash anchor for Stellar as far as I know. And I don't really know how that works. Kind of reminds me of the whole Ripple gateway thing. But that's the first challenge. And the second challenge is no one there has smartphones. And if you get them smartphones, no one will know how to use it. One family has a flip phone. So they desperately need something like Dash Text over there. So with those two things combined, we could potentially see a lot of the poorest of the poor in the rural regions of Ghana using Dash to buy and sell things directly. And so, yeah, and this is like, a lot of people are just send them Dash, set them up with wallets. No, it's not that easy. There's a couple big hurdles that need to be overcome. But after those are overcome, something huge can happen.
Exactly. And that's where we filled out the ecosystem and continue to do that. Sorry.
I was just checking the pre-proposals, and yes, the Vault Logic definitely has a pre-proposal there, and they're offering 67% to go back to the network, to Dash Ventures. Looks like they're wanting to set up 10 ATMs, and I'm just skimming it, but it looks good. It looks like a good one.
Well, talking of fun partnerships and things to come, I want to get Lorenzo back in the mix, who's now joined by Alejandro as well. I can see his cheeky face in the corner. How's it going, Alejandro?
Hello, guys. How are you? Pretty fine to be here. Nice to meet you, Mastermind. It's a pleasure to meet you, man. An honor.
You too.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, because actually I wanted to ask Lorenzo, because you was at the Dash conference in Colombia, but you made an announcement online. So I know we've been talking about Dash Text, but I saw you tweet out some stuff about, was it ElectroPay? Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you got cooking? You guys are always up to something. What's going on?
Yeah, so basically ElectroPay is a solution that Rodrigo from Dash Brazil has been working alongside Nelson, which is a Brazilian guy, he's a great guy who lives in China, and they have been working on this for months. So I didn't really know much about it, but in Colombia, I was staying at an Airbnb with both of them. So as soon as I got into the apartment, we started talking and stuff, and a lot of ideas came up. And the Nelson, the guy from China, like Rodrigo doesn't really have all that technical knowledge, you know, but he's good with business and stuff. And Nelson, the guy from Brazil who lives in China, they met each other because he was a fan of his show, you know, the YouTube channel, the Dash Brazil. And that guy is like an electronic genius, you know, that guy can build anything with electronics, but he didn't know much about blockchain tech, just the basics. So that's where I came in, and we started talking. I started explaining all the stuff. I started setting up a node, hosting it on a server. We spent the whole night programming some stuff, getting it to work, you know, generating dynamic addresses. And Rodrigo was like, "Oh, man, this is so cool, Lorenzo, you have to join the team. Join us so we can bring this and help us alongside Alejandro and everyone get this all across Venezuela." I was like, "Man, I'm so honored you invited me to do this." So yeah, it was something that happened during the trip. I mean, I was not part of the team before. I just went to the conference, but after spending so much more quality time and, you know, talking tech and having ideas and doing stuff, we're now working on our partnerships so that we can help make the product better and also get a lot of those devices here in Venezuela. So that's coming very soon. And, you know, cheers to those guys, you know, Nelson and Rodrigo, awesome people. They're also giving me a chance to practice my Portuguese. You know, I speak a little bit of Portuguese, so now I'm able to practice it more with them. So yeah, very happy to be doing this.
Cool. And what about you, El Jefe? You being busy bunny? So those that don't know, aka Dash Cheeses, Lorenzo, as the community now call him. But you're a very busy man. So what have you been up to? Dash Merchant still doing well? Phenomenal month on discoverdash.com. You guys are really doing some impressive work over there.
This last month we focused and started focusing getting bigger merchants, you know, bigger merchants with, you know, bigger restaurants, bigger local pharmacies here. So the team was focusing on the whole October to look in these merchants, you know, restaurants and more local, you know, more companies, more bigger companies. So the results have been great. And then we started the influencer campaign, you know, we submitted the proposal on Dash Boost, and we submitted another proposal for the second stage, and the results have been great, you know, because Venezuelans love social media and love Instagram. And just in the first 2 weeks, we had over like 200,000 views on Instagram, and the followers, we increased the followers on our accounts. And like this is what we needed to do in this whole time, you know, to be involved with these influential people and with these famous people to make awareness, to make engagement with the Dash brand. So for those who don't know what is this campaign about, we selected two types of influencers: the comedians and the intellectual. So these influencers are posting videos on Instagram, which is the social media which the Venezuelans use the most. And then they talk about Dash, they talk about Dash Help, they talk about Dash Merchant, and they invite people and they invite their followers to follow us and to ask for our services. And that mix of videos has been amazing. So I just want to share you that. And yeah, we're very excited about also the launch of Dash Text. I think you already talked about the launch of Dash Text yesterday. It was a whole success. And yeah, man, we're very excited about also the new things we were talking with Mark, the new things for the, you know, I don't know if I can disclose something, Mark, about the new product coming. Okay, that's all right. So we'll disclose a little bit more about it. We're working very, very close to that. Soon I will release some more videos, but I'm paying with Dash every day, and we will make some more videos. We will also make a contest to people to make the video I'm making. So we pay people to make those videos. So you know, to kind of to make it viral. You know, not just have Alejandro making the videos, but the rest of the community making videos, and you know, trying to incentivize people to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I was just telling them the story about, you know, we were having lunch today, and I told them about we giving the tip to the security guy using Dash Text. So it was very cool. Yeah, I already talked about it, but I wanted to brief you onto that. So that was very cool.
Yeah, so much work. Sorry if in these weeks I haven't been so active on Discord and the forum, but we're planning so many things here, so many great things. But the results are there, the numbers are there, and yeah, we will keep working so much to bring value to Dash Network.
Yeah, those videos are great. I like those.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So another thing I've been personally trying to do is whenever I work on a project that I need some work to be done, that I try to reach out to someone who is in Venezuela who can take Dash directly, and then they can go pay to start getting that economy going. And I think that that's obviously it's like a multi-stage strategy. And as I was talking on this panel today at the CryptoCon about, in the beginning, you need someone to be able to transfer their fiat into Dash, and then the end recipient, like the merchant, to transfer then out of it. And basically, those two ends, if you can remove one of them from needing to be a transfer, all of a sudden becomes so much easier. If you can get people some money to, and that's of course the thing in Venezuela right now is how many merchants do you think are converting out of Dash? What percentage do you think? Yeah, it just doesn't have to be a very accurate number. Like, what's your feeling?
Yeah, that's actually a very great question, because there are many hundreds, already thousands of merchants accepting Dash, but obviously the majority of their volume is not yet in Dash. So the majority of their purchases are obviously still in Bolivars. So the big majority, I'm not sure about saying a percentage, but the big majority of merchants are not converting back to Bolivars. They're just using Dash as a store, for savings. So they will only use it if they go out to other merchants that they can pay in Dash. But generally, they don't want to switch to exchanges for Bolivars, obviously, because they consider it part of their profits. They already have many purchases in Bolivars, so that's what they use to pay and get rid of those Bolivars, paying for the bills and all that stuff. So that's the way it's working right now. But absolutely, I agree that, making it easier for people to buy and sell is key. And that's one big barrier that we've been trying to fight here. Many people really don't want to register on the exchange and do this and that. So we're actually also encouraging people to, because in Venezuela, there's a huge market of people exchanging US dollars for Bolivars, and they do it through WhatsApp and Instagram. So that's how they do it. So,
OTC.
An OTC market. So yeah, if we're working with people that actually can use the exchanges, want to do things to be like little human exchanges, like they could sell Dash to other people easily, students, that they can sell Dash to other students at the university and stuff, making that barrier easier, and eventually, hopefully people will register themselves at the exchange so they can do it themselves. But it's important to get people, that they're already used to, because that's what they've been doing for years, exchanging Bolivars for US dollars. So we're trying to mimic a little bit of that to make that barrier easier.
Are you only able to use Bit Refill there? Does that work in Venezuela? The Bit Refill?
Yeah, that's very interesting, because I've been in talks with them. It seems like we are in everything, but yeah, I mean, speaking with them, because the Bit Refill works in Venezuela. You can charge your phone up with that, but the rate is just so high. It's like more than 10 times higher. So I've been speaking with them to get a solution, because they seem to have a provider that, because I was saying, hey guys, I think you have the wrong exchange rate, and they told me, no, we don't have the wrong exchange rate. We're purchasing it directly in US dollars. So their provider is charging them insane amounts, and like no one is actually going to use it for those prices. It's like more than 10 times the price should be. So I'm in conversations with them, and we're going to figure out a way so that it can work, and you can top up your phone easily from here.
Excellent.
Right. I think we should start to think about wrapping up, because although we always aim for 1 hour, but I see we've already been 1 hour, 20 minutes. So
surplus of excitement here. And that's one thing that makes us different. I don't want to say, I don't know, scratch that different. That's one thing that makes us stand out, I think, is that every time I'm talking at a conference, every time there's Dash people talk, there's always excitement around it. Whether or not people, the outside crowds, understand Dash or not, the people who are talking and talking with the Dash people, there's always like excitement and enthusiasm. There's just so excited about getting stuff done. And whenever I speak, I mean, I'm not always the most engaging person, just naturally when I'm, I had to sort of learn to get more comfortable and letting my feelings out in speech, and that tends to resonate really well. People are like, you can just hear, oh yeah, solutions to this, that, but just the excitement that I honestly feel. I mean, this is not something that I'm doing because I'm just trying to get rich off of some ICO or something. This is something that I really think could change the world in a whole lot of ways, and I just can't like I go to bed thinking about when I'm going to go wake up and what the work I'm going to do when I wake up in the morning. And it's like, I see this energy kind of everywhere, like in this podcast. Of course, I think Mark is just contagiously energetic about anything, but he chose to throw his dashiness onto Dash tends to be a high compliment. So yes. So sorry again for all the viewers who might have just been like, dude, an hour, come on, that's all I can do. But I'm sorry, we just get so excited.
You're right. There's just too much good news. It's one week in Dash is like a month. It's getting harder and harder running the news website every day because now we have to actually cherry pick which stories that we run with. But anyway, for those that don't know, of course you know.
Yeah, by the way, you said year. You should coin the term Dash years. It's like, oh, how many years has it been? Like, how many years has it been developing so and so on whatever crypto thing? Oh, it's in 2 years, man. That's like 14 Dash years. So it is kind of like that, right?
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, dashforcenews.com, #1 source for Dash news online, funded by the blockchain. And while we're plugging things, Karen, where can people go to find out about BlockCypher? I'm hoping you're going to come back on soon for some more big announcements. But for those that just can't wait and they want to follow you, what's the best place? What can they do? Website, Twitter, what's good?
So our website is www.blockcypher.com. And on Twitter, I'm Karen HSUMAR. That's it. And then I also just recently started another nonprofit, Blockchain by Women, to help not only get women into the space more, but also have women be a force to support the rest of you guys. And so there are a ton of women out there that want to help out with projects, use these different projects, use Dash. And so look forward to working with you guys on that too.
And I'd like to point out that Dash has definitely had a lot of great women leaders. Who can forget Amanda Johnson, who, despite being my roommate back in the day, she's the one who she kind of got the message before I did about the Dash was cool. And so I had to sort of follow her over here. And she was the face of Dash for a long time. And of course, Eugenia has been the face of the Dash Venezuela movement for a while. And I'm sure you guys remember starting to work with her. And there's just a lot of cool stuff going on. And I always think that that's kind of weird about when people just say, look, an industry is dominated by a certain kind of person. For example, first world, developing countries, et cetera, because if this works, if this is something that can really change the world on a global scale, we should have everyone using it. And it kind of like blows my mind when you see, I definitely look for a world where like everyone is using Dash. People who have nothing else in common are using Dash. And like sometimes you walk by all these tables and things and you see a bunch of crypto developers, and then you see sort of like the eye candy that they hired to come there. And there's a sort of a male dominated vibe in a lot of crypto stuff, which kind of it doesn't speak to me as like a male dominated vibe. It speaks to me like it's still so new and it's not widespread enough. You're not seeing the whole rest of the world, and they just think, oh, well, this is what we do. This is what we, this is what makes us look good. This is what attracts our kinds of people. And it's not like a malicious intent. It just shows that we need to do a lot of work. We need to do a lot of work to get this in the hands of everyone possible. And yeah, I mean, I definitely applaud what you're doing, Karen. It's something that I feel strongly with as well.
Sounds good.
Exciting times. Right. Lorenzo.
Sorry to add a little bit of things. So yeah, we totally support those women leaders or stuff. And yeah, Eugenia is a great leader. We're working very specific objectives with Dash Venezuela and Eugenia to bring our alliance and make it even stronger, And there's a lot of stuff coming in alliance from our teams in Dash Venezuela. She gave us a lot of support at the beginning. We are doing different stuff, but we're actually having conversations right now to actually strengthen each other even more. So yeah, definitely that's something to look forward to. And Alejandro, what did you tell them where to find us on DashTex and all that?
Yeah, the website of DashTex is dashtex.io. We already did the integration of Dash Help. The live chat is on the DashTex website, so everybody can have support from our Dash Help support agents. That is the integration is all about. The Dash Help is able to everyone, to support everyone, to ask questions, and to solve every kind of issues that people may have. So that in that way you could have support from us, you know.
Excellent. And Dash Text, I see you're very active on Instagram and especially Twitter as well, right?
Oh, I'm liking all your stuff.
At Dash for everything. And also step by our Dash Help.io support center and on Dash Merchant social media as well.
Right, guys. Well,
I'm definitely going to be sliding into your DMs soon. Now, while I talked about one reason I'm pushing Dash, especially for the unbanked, and that it's not hypocritical of me because I live off of Dash and am unbanked myself, let me be a hypocrite for a second. I'm going to advertise the after party, which I'm not going to be in. So the Dash Talk Discord is where we do a lot of this stuff. And if you go to the Dash Talk Discord, if you're in there already, you know where it is. Otherwise, staydashy.com, I wonder where that came from, is a link that gets you in. And then just start asking, where's the after party? It's sort of like this, except 10 people. And just talking about whatever, whenever, however, for hours on end. And it's just started as a fun thing to sort of decompress and, you know, have a drink while you're talking about stuff. And it ended up being that a lot of really cool projects and ideas happen in like the long after hours discussions about things. A lot of like hard voting decisions get spoken about by the masternodes and things like that. It's a very, it emphasizes the thing that this is a network. Dash is a network, not just a tool. We are Dash. We are the users. We need to come together. And the best things happen always when we meet. If you can meet, absolutely meet in person with as many people who are into Dash as possible. Plan cool things. When you can't, meet like this. Come join the after party, guys.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great job.
Sounds good.
Well, that was episode 76 of the Dash Force Free Amigos podcast. I would like to say thank you, Karen, for coming on.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank you to Lorenzo and Alejandro. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure.
Excellent. And thank you all for watching. If you found this to be informative, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy.
Bye, guys.